Okay. Hopefully that dog's not barking the whole entire time. I hope. Okay, I'm getting logged onto my iPad over here so I can see the chat. And hopefully I can moderate it a little bit better to get any trolls out of here because we had quite a few last time. So hopefully we can keep track of that. So just let me know, you guys, if you start seeing anybody. Hi, Amanda. If you guys see any, like, you know, troll activity going on in the chat, and I will try to take care of it as soon as possible. So how are you doing, Amanda? How was your weigh-in this week? Hi, Sandra. I hope you guys don't hear that dog. It is like, it's so overcast out today. It's cold in here. I have no sunlight, but I have my curtains open just to, you know, let a little bit of light in here. But every time I do that, the dog next door starts barking, and it doesn't even fail every time I come in here to film, always. Hi, Denise. Hi, keeping it positive. Oh, good job, Amanda. Yay. Which plan are you following right now? We'll just have a little chit chat until we get some people on here. I think I remembered to bring everything. I did forget to bring the couple like beauty favorites that I was gonna show you guys, so I'll just have to tell you about them. I was gonna bring them in here with me, but obviously I guess I could get up and go get them, but then it'd be a blank screen, and that's annoying probably, so I won't do that. I know, I don't understand, like, and I never see this dog, like, ever, but he is loud. He's obviously a big dog. I don't know what kind of dog he is, but he's big and loud, and I have little dogs, so I'm sure when mine are yapping, when anybody comes to the door, it's probably annoying to my neighbors too, but my bedroom window is really super close to my neighbors. So today, we're just going to, oh, Denise. Oh, good job, Denise. You lost what you gained plus more. Yay. Hi, Deborah. I'm looking over here because that's where my iPad is. Yeah, I wish I could go to meetings, but I checked out all the meetings in our area, and there's no way I can fit one into my schedule. If there was one on a Friday or one on a Saturday, that'd be fantastic, because Fridays I could, as I have them off in the summertime, plus all of June, July, and most of August, and then like a few weeks in December. And so I could maybe work a Friday meeting, or just, you know, if it was something I had to get off early. But the rest of the week, it's hard for me to go in late or get off early. And I think, but it would be like I think one of the meetings is like on a Wednesday at like 9:30 in the morning, which it would just be too much into my day. Plus that's like when all of our meetings are scheduled, or around 9 o'clock in the morning. And then there's like one night meeting during the week, but it's not until like 6:30 or 7, and I don't live in town. And so I get off work at 4:30. So that's a long time to either stay in town, or I'd have to go home and then try to get dinner made or something. But you know, anyways, I'd still have to come back to town. And honestly, once I'm home, I don't know if I want to come all the way back to town. So I wish we had more meetings here, but we don't. We've talked about, through our work, possibly getting a meeting together. We're trying to find out, like, how do you do that? And so I know that we have looked into it, but I think you have to have so many people committed to the meeting, and I don't think we had that many people doing Weight Watchers at our work. Even though if you go to meetings, you can get it for 13 weeks for free, and then I think you get a discount after that or something through our insurance. But we just can't get enough people committed. So, anywho. Yeah, I mean, I don't live super far out of town. I mean, it's like I don't know, it's like 8-9 miles, but I have to hit the freeway. And so it's, whenever I get on the free, it's like 15 minutes is what it is, 15-20 minutes depending on traffic. And these meetings are, I don't know, I think they're at like an Elks Lodge or something like that, downtown. So they're close to my work, which would be super convenient if they're different times. So I continually check to see what times the meetings start, just to see if anything ever changes, because I've heard that if they get different leaders and stuff, they can change. So I'm always checking to see what time they are at, just in case. Because I know you can go to one meeting for free. So I thought about just on a day, maybe just trying to make it for sure if I have anything else going on, just to see what it's like. And because I've heard just great things about meetings. Hi, Donna. Okay, so I think there's not a lot of people on here, but I don't know. I don't know if this is going to be a good time for everybody. I guess I could ask those of you that are here right now, is this a good time for you guys? Or if I did it on a Saturday, would that be better? If I did it later in the day on a Friday, would that be better? Because the Fridays right now, I can do them anytime on a Friday. Saturdays is going to be what it's going to be after I have to go back to work on Fridays. And so, yeah. Yeah, Sandra, there's a couple of us that have been talking about doing something like that. Actually, a couple of us White Watcher people and doing that. And it's just trying to get everybody's schedules together. It's like I said, a Saturday would be fantastic for me all year round, but it wouldn't be good for a couple of the other gals. A Sunday also would be, I could make it work. I could just change my schedule around, but it doesn't work for some of the other ones. Plus, the people I'm talking to, we have literally like anywhere between, some are in Central Time Zone and some are Eastern Time Zone. Nobody's on the West Coast that that we have talked to about doing this. So that's really, it's hard because I'm on the West Coast, and there's not many of us on the West Coast. So, anyway, hey, Joe. Yeah, so I don't know. We'll just see what happens. I'm just going to see what this happens on Fridays, and then, and I may try a couple Saturdays just to see how it all works out. But I do have some really fun stuff to share with you guys today, just some favorites. But first, I'll start off with how my week went. So I did maintain this week, which I am fine with. I don't know why I maintained, because I stayed really good on track. The only thing I can look at, oh, Donna, I'm sorry you're sick. That's too bad. I'm glad you can make the chat though, even though you're sick. Every time I start talking, my nose itches. I don't know why. It's so weird. And I have my dog hair on me. I've had terrible allergies this last week, and I don't think that would have anything to do with my, my scale. I mean, I don't want to put it off on anything at all, but besides, I've had like terrible allergies all week. It has been everybody. I don't even normally have allergies. I will get just a little bout of it this time of year, where sometimes I've gotten a sinus infection, but for the most part, I don't typically have them. My husband has them really bad, but since doctors put him on different supplements, and he's gotten his medication and stuff all evened out, he has been perfect with his allergies, but even his have been affected this last week. But everybody at work, it has been terrible. It's the grass pollen. When I look it up online, that's what they said, super high in our area. So I've had that this week. But when I looked back at the meals that I ate this week, so I did completely Simply Filling all week, which typically, I have pretty good results with that. But even so, I did keep track of, for video purposes, I was keeping track of how many points I would have spent most of the day, and all of them were still anywhere between 18 to 23 points. So I still stayed within my points, even doing Simply Filling. And like I said, the foods I was eating was nothing that I wouldn't normally eat anyway. I was just trying to keep them all whole, clean foods, and that's really what I ate this week. I only had one Built Bar this week, so it would have been the only processed type food that I had. And then I had popcorn one day this week. I took it with me all week just so I had something to have in my bag when I was at work. I had the popcorn, but I had it actually one day at home. And so I had that popcorn and I had the Built Bar. Besides that, I had nothing but whole, clean foods all week. And I was very proud of that. I even used skim milk in my coffee, which I am so not a fan of skim milk in like my hot coffee and like, you know, that, or, you know, even like my, yeah, mainly just my hot coffee. But when I do my cold brew and my iced coffee, I'm okay with skim milk because that's what I always get whenever I go to like Starbucks or Dutch Brothers or something like that. I always have non-fat milk in there unless I, you know, I'm trying to do a little bit more fat and I'll do like cream or heavy cream in there. But for the most part, I use non-fat milk. But for some reason, when I make hot coffee, I do not like it. And I don't even really like it at the coffee places either. But I can stand it, but I just don't like it as much. So I'm thinking this week I may do another like break a Simply Feeling rule and have, and just go back to half and half. But fat-free half and half years ago was on the Simply Feeling list. They took it off, and I have a feeling they probably took it off because of the corn syrup that is in fat-free half and half, which is annoying that corn syrup is in there because it doesn't belong. So I may just go ahead and count the points and have the regular half and half and just count it out of my weeklies and just go from there because I want to have a good cup of coffee because what's the point of having coffee if you don't have a good cup of coffee? But I'll just continue using the skim milk in my like iced and cold brew coffees. But other than that, the only thing I can think of, and I think Deborah mentioned it, is maybe not enough calories. I think the calories were probably okay, but what I'm thinking along those lines is maybe not enough protein. Because I was looking back at what I was eating, and there was one day that I took some of the chicken salad that I meal prep, which was so good. For some reason, using rotisserie chicken in a chicken salad just like steps it up a notch, even though I'm just using the chicken breast, but I don't know, there's just something about it that just really stepped it up. So I'm not gonna make it again this week because I have something else. But I think I may make that again next week, like every other week, just make like a rotisserie chicken salad. Is so good. Anyway, I took that one day, but I also took some, just a regular salad, and I took some of the Skinny Kitchen Ranch, and I had that with it, and I had an avocado also. And I ended up not eating the chicken salad and just eating that salad. And so I was kind of looking back at the days, and I'm thinking I did not have enough protein. So I think what I'm going to do this week is since you don't have to track as much with Simply Feeling, the way I do it, which I will link to Cherie over at Motivated Muffins, I'm going to link her video down below where she showed how she tracks Simply Feeling on iTrackBites because that's what I'm using. And I'm doing her same process. So you just basically track all your, whatever your points are for the day, and you just take that up, and then anything you add on there is your weekly points. So I will link that video. She did really good on that and she really showed it pretty clearly. So that's how I've been doing it. And so you don't really have a lot of tracking. You literally just have to track anything that's not a Simply Feeling food. So I think I'm going to reactivate my FitnessPal and just track a full day of calories and macros and not really have a goal or anything. I'm just going to track it purely to see what I ended up with by the end of the week and then see how that is. So that'll kind of give me a idea of, was it not enough protein? Is that what's going on? Because sometimes that is what happens. You don't have enough protein, maybe not enough fiber, which I know is an issue with me. Maybe not enough calories. I don't know. Maybe too many calories. No idea. One thing that I do when I do Simply Feeling, which is kind of against the rules, with Simply Feeling, you're supposed to just not have, well, it's not really a rule to not weigh and measure. That is like the lifestyle is, sorry, I had a little, I don't know what happened. It like froze up really quick. For some reason, now I lost my train of thought. Oh, you're not supposed to, you don't have to weigh and measure your food. You can just eat when you're hungry, stop when you're full, or stop before you're full, like when you're satisfied. That's what they say, stop when you're satisfied. So I typically just weigh and measure only because I know that if I don't, like, who knows if this is really like about a serving of rice, because I can eat way too much rice. So anyway, that is what they say, but I already weigh and measure, so it's not going to be too difficult for me to weigh and measure my food and track it in MyFitnessPal. I'm just curious because protein is so important to get enough protein, and it's so easy for me not to because I do enjoy just eating fruits and vegetables and salads a lot, and a lot of times I do forget to throw that protein in there. A lot of times I'll just put avocado or just a ton of vegetables, and I'll even like think, oh, I'll put some beans in there, some chickpeas in there, and I don't because sometimes I just too lazy to go open the can, to be honest. So anyway, that's usually what happens, but I'm just gonna see what happens. But I'm okay with maintaining. I am really okay with maintaining. I feel okay about maintaining, and I don't know what keeps going on. I'm sorry. I may have to like restart because it just keeps freezing on my end, like completely freezing. Anyway, here, bear with me just 1 second. I'm gonna see if I can figure this out. I don't know, maybe my internet's trying to go down. I'm not sure. Anywho, so I am going to just try to double track and just see what happens. But that was all I have to say about that. So like I said, I'm okay with maintaining. I'm fine with that. Oh my goodness. I don't know what's going on. I think my internet went down, but it looks like it's back up. Am I back? Can you guys hear me? Because on my iPad over here, I'm not back. Oh my goodness. Okay. Okay, sorry about that. That's the like only bad thing about live stuff. You know, you have to worry about that. I do want to, let me go through the comments real quick before we switch over to favorites. And I'm gonna go look at this. So let's see. Yes, Kim, let's do a group chat. Let's talk about it. We can get on Instagram and figure out a time to do it. Yeah, Deborah, I'm thinking maybe you're right. Maybe not enough calories, not enough protein, something. And yes, Amanda, the real half and half, doesn't that just, I mean, it is so weird how it just can make your coffee, and it is so worth the points. It really is. It's worth the points to have something that just makes you happy. And coffee, you guys, makes me happy. Isn't that sad? Coffee makes me that happy. Lisa, I did Simply Filling last week and lost 4 pounds. Yay! That is amazing. I am so happy for you. She said it was her first week, so she knows she typically loses more. I'm off on Fridays, but I'm sure Saturdays would have more viewers. Kathleen just started Simply Filling this morning. Yay! So you guys, isn't it? It's so fun. It really is fun to do something different. And I have to tell you guys, just really short, and I'm going to make this positive, not negative, for sure. But I had some people reach out to me on Instagram and DM me, and they are a little bit upset about Simply Filling, about people doing Simply Filling, because they say it's not a Weight Watchers program. Weight Watchers doesn't endorse it anymore, so we shouldn't be calling ourselves Weight Watchers people and tagging Weight Watchers and stuff. And I just don't agree. I feel like Weight Watchers at one point, just because that they did endorse it and it's their program, and if you do look up Simply Filling food list, you can still find it. It's actually tagged to their website still. So I don't know. I just don't get when people get just so upset about things like that. And and the thing is, it's like I did freestyle for a very long time when it first came out. I mean, I was on Smart Points before that, then I did freestyle, and it just really, I've had just not the greatest progress with it. And so with Simply Filling, it just gives me another way to eat, and it is a way of eating that, and like Cheryl just said, it seems to me it's very healthy. It is very healthy. It does encourage you to not have as much processed food, which I know people can eat processed food and they can lose weight, which great. That is good for them, but I notice if I eat too much processed food, I will stall. Plus, that's just not the way I want to eat at all. I want to eat whole foods. I want to eat clean because that's where I get the good results of my blood tests, and that's where I can hopefully get off some of the medication that I'm on. And the fact that since I have been doing Weight Watchers in general and just eating a healthier diet in general, and actually it even started before Weight Watchers when I was just doing calorie counting and counting my macros, I you know, my test results were showing very positive, and then since then my thyroid medication actually has been lowered. And my doctor was just blown away by that, because typically with thyroid medication, and for those of you who have to take it, you know that when you get your blood test done every 6 months to a year, a lot of times they have to raise it, and then, but not very often is it lowered. And it was lowered just because of the foods that I've been eating. And he said that it really is due, and actually I had a different doctor before him that was a female, and she is the one that encouraged me to do more of the calorie counting and macros. And she uses a program called Lose It, which I've never used that program before. Well, I logged onto it, which is fun. Okay, so here's another kind of non-scale victory, I guess you could call it. I was thinking about that the other day, about the Lose It app, because when I was thinking about double tracking this next week, and I thought, well, I never really did do anything with that Lose It app. All I did was literally log into it and create an account and look at it, and I didn't really like the look about it as much as I liked my MyFitnessPal. And so when I went back into it the other day, because I could not remember at all what it looked like, I saw that my starting weight on there was 254 pounds. And I was like, okay, so because I've been feeling so bad about the 25 pounds I put on since October, when I saw that 254 and I knew that I am like 50 pounds less than that now, even with the weight that I have gained, that made me feel so good. So I looked at the date that was, and it was like, it was February of 2015 that I had logged in, because it said like your last login was February 2015, and it had that weight on there. So that means, you know, yes, it's been 4 years, but still, I mean, that made me feel so good. 50 pounds less made me feel so good. And then but I still don't like the app. So I don't know if any of you guys use it. Maybe I'm just looking at it in a different way. I think maybe just because I used MyFitnessPal for so long that I absolutely love it. So that's my plan for this week. I'm going to do Simply Feeling, continue doing Simply Feeling, and double track with MyFitnessPal. So that is the plan I maintained this week for any of you that are new here coming in. So that is, that's what I'm doing. Now let's talk about favorites. So I did forget to bring in a couple things, which doesn't surprise me because I was rushing around trying to get ready. But one of the things I want to first talk to you about, I got an email from Carrie, Elle. So you guys know I use that Carrie, Elle meal planner, and a lot of you have also gotten it, and I absolutely love it. I think it is, I just absolutely love it so much. I use the inventory sheets in there. I use the planning sheets, the gathering sheets. I use pretty much everything in there, and you guys see it every week when I show my grocery haul. Well, she also has, I don't talk a lot about this, I think I've mentioned it a couple times, she also does printables. And with the printables, it's basically, it's the same thing as the meal planner, it's just not bound, and it's, of course, it's less expensive. So I definitely, if you guys want a little bit less expensive option, and you can print these as many times as you want. So she just sent me an email, though, that she was talking about a new bundle that she just did. Now, I will have her store link down below, and because this one, I don't remember how much just the single like meal planner is for the digital, just to print it. I know it's not this much. I know it's a little bit cheaper. Oh my gosh. Now my cat and my dog are both on the bed at the same time. Hopefully there's no, like, she always comes in here. She likes to like, it's like the other way around. My dog doesn't bug the cat. My cat bugs the dog, but she is actually bigger than him. So anyway, so she says she has a new product that it is a bundle. She's calling it her printable meal planning bundle. And I printed out a few of them so you guys could see what they look like. And she's selling it for $24.99. And let me tell you everything that is in it, though. Like I said, I think there is a cheaper version of just the meal planner itself. But you get the original Carrie, Elle printable meal planner. So just the original, which I didn't print out the original. So I can't put any pictures up. See, this is where like a live favorites is a little bit different. A printable fall meal planner. So the only difference is going to be like the colors and stuff she uses. A printable spring meal planner and a printable summer meal planner, which I have that, so I'll show that to you. Let me just show it to you right now. So this is a summer meal planner. So you can see it has the sunflowers on there. And then what I really like is she has on here how to use it. So even on here it says, thank you for your purchase. So it comes with the following, and it says, you know, comes with the cover, which this is, so this is the cover. Now I did it two-sided. You probably would not want to do these two-sided normally because it also comes with a binder. Like if you want to put it in a binder, you can, this is for the, what do you call that? What does she call it? Binder strip. So you can put this on the inside of your binder so you can see that. So you make it real professional looking. Monthly calendar pages, weekly plan. So she has everything: spice inventory, freezer inventory, has everything that the big bound one that you can buy gives you. As notes page. So she's saying the material she uses to create her binder, she get a 1-inch 3-ring binder, so just the little 1-inch ones. The cardstock, she even tells you 65-pound cardstock for the cover and the binder strip and the recipe cards, because it comes with recipe cards too. And 24-pound copy paper for the inside pages. And I mean, that's just her suggestions. So, so really, it just looks exactly like it. So you have your monthly page here. And like I said, the difference in like the summer, fall, all that kind of stuff, it just has to do with what the little pictures are. So you have that. But these are all like the weekly pages. So it has enough weekly pages for the whole month. I mean, you could print as many as you want too, so you use it for the whole season, however you want to do it. And then she has baking conversions here. What else? That's all baking. And then here's the freezer inventory, measurement conversions. So it is really, really neat that she's putting this all together. So basically you can have, you know, just the same type of meal planner, but it's just not as expensive. Plus you can have a, like I said, it's fall, winter, spring, summer. She has a black and white one. And the original one, if I remember what she means by the original, it's the rainbow. I don't know if you've ever seen anybody have one of those, but it's like a rainbow cover. And then the black and white is black and white. You get, also in the bundle, you get 11 extra recipe cards, which this is what like the recipe cards look like this. And then 10 extra weekly planning pages. So if you just want some extra pages, which she has, and it's not only like, there's different colors. So like this one, I just printed off just an example of one, but there's all different colors in there. But see, here's all the different ones, all the different weekly planning pages. So they're just set up different. Still has the grocery list. Now, of course, it doesn't have the tear off grocery list, but you could, if, like I said, if you don't do front and back like I did, you could still cut off the list if you wanted to. But if you have any of those fancy, like, don't they have like a perforator thing? Like, I know for those of you crafters, like, I think there's probably ways to like do that yourself. Anyway, so there's just all of those in there. So you get those 10 weekly planning, 10 extra gathering. I think I printed out, did I print out the gathering? No, I don't think I did. So the gathering pages are like the ones that are like, say for Thanksgiving or Easter, you know, some kind of a big party, if you have a birthday party, anything like that. There's a fall recipe ebook, which I didn't print that out, but the recipe, she has recipes in there. I mean, it's just like on the like little recipe cards that you can print out. And I kind of just briefly went through them, and it's so neat that she has those. She has a Christmas recipe ebook, and then a printable wellness journal, which I didn't get a chance to print that either. But yes, that's all in there. And then the last thing, which I did print out because I wanted to show it to you guys, is a Thanksgiving dinner kit. So when it comes time to plan Thanksgiving, and for those of you that are like really OG viewers of mine, you guys know that in the past when we hosted the big Thanksgiving dinner here with my whole family before we all kind of like moved all away from each other, I had actually a binder, and I think I did like a flip through my binder one year of my Thanksgiving. I am, yeah, crazy with that kind of stuff. So here is the Thanksgiving dinner kit, and then again, she kind of has like a, you know, how to use it. So it says it comes with 8x10 Thanksgiving printable art. So you could, you know, use it for, that's what's a printable art. So you could put it in frames, put them on your tables, put them around your house. A dinner planning page, Thanksgiving menu, place cards, napkin rings. So then she even gives you a list of materials to possibly use for it. Scissors, you know, gives a cardstock, 8x10 frame for the art. Didn't even see that. Tape to secure the napkin rings. This is even like a bookmark, she says, on there. So let me show you some of the pages on this. So that's the art. And then we have just the planning page, which is really similar to what the gatherings page looks like also. And then she has on there tonight's menu. And then these are the napkin rings. So you would cut those out and just secure them around the silver one. You can print them out as many times as you want. So you, of course, this is not very many. And then they have these little grateful cards, which I used to put those actually on the tables whenever I did Thanksgiving, and people would fill them out and we'd read them out loud. And that's it. So that's the dinner kit. So you guys, I just thought that was fantastic. When I saw that, I was really excited about that because I know the books can be a little expensive, although they last you for a long time. So it is kind of an investment, but I do recommend the books as well, getting the bound copy already. But if you're someone who just wants to make your own, this is a really good deal. So I will link it down below. Again, it's $24.99. I don't think it's limited time or anything. Let me see. There's another part of the email here. Let me see what else it says. Oh, yes, there was a little bit more information. So there it says all the files are already available to members of the Printable Club. So she has something called a Printable Club, which I didn't know anything about. So it's an annual membership. It's $50 for the Printable Club, and it just gives you access to all of her printables apparently for free. So as she changes them up, so these would already be on there if you're part of a Printable Club. So anyway, I mean, I'm assuming you may just go look for more information on that. I should have looked that up more. But I'm assuming the Printable Club is going to be like all of whatever digital file she has on there. So $50 a year. And I know she changes things up a lot. Oh yeah, see, so this is kind of some pictures of everything that's in here. So here's like the wellness journal. So that is the original meal planners with the rainbows on it. And then the ebook printable. So I wonder if you can actually get her ebook on her website, but you can just have the printables too and just print them out. So that is exciting. Oh no, what did I do? Now I need my list of favorites here. I think I bundled it up with all this stuff when I was putting it all away. I did, here it is. Okay, so let's get into other favorites. Let me know though, do any of you guys have the Carrie Elle meal planner? Do you like it? I have my my energy drink. I get a lot of comments about that too, but it's like my one like bad thing that I ever drank. Okay, so I'm going to talk about some books. I have been really trying to get into reading again, and you guys know I like kind of this up and down thing. Well, what is the name of the meal planner? It's from Carrie, Elle. I will have it, Cheryl, I will have a link down below in the description box. Now, do understand, anything I link in the description box, it won't automatically appear because I have to do it after the fact, and this video will probably be posted before I get everything up. So I will, as soon as this gets posted, as soon as I'm done filming, I will go right into my, onto my desktop, and I will link anything I'm talking about in the description box. Oh, what is my favorite Bang flavor? Oh my goodness. It's better to tell you which ones I don't like because I like a lot of them, but I do not like the peach mango. And that's mainly because I have to tell you that one time when I was younger, I drank maybe too many peach wine coolers in my day, and they didn't sit very well with me. And so anything peach flavored, like those kind of peach flavored things, yeah. I like the cotton candy. I really like the Power Punch, but I do not like the lemon drop. I'm kind of so on the, what is that one called? The Sour Heads or something like that. I also do not like the Star, it's like Star Blast. I don't know, it's kind of like supposed to be like look patriotic on the can. I don't like that one. And there's one of them, I like the blue raz, but I don't like one of the grape ones. Yeah, I know, peach wine coolers, but back when I was probably not 21, that was what you could get a hold of. So anyway, but yeah, I really like a lot of the flavors. Oh, I didn't like the tea one very well. There's a tea one, and I'm kind of iffy on the guava pear. That's one I'm not sure if I like that one or not. There's a new one, that Rosé, I don't know, Fraza Rosé, I don't know, one of that new ones. I'm not sure if I like that. Same with the Rainbow Unicorn. I like it, but I'm not sure if I like it. Now the Pina Colada I like, but I can't like drink, like there's no way I can drink those every day because it's just so rich tasting to me. So yeah, but anyway, I really do like the Bang. Well, Cheryl, Bang, they're energy drinks, which I know a lot of people have really strong opinions on energy drinks. For me though, I drink one a day typically. I don't ever drink more than one a day, but I typically drink only one a day. It's kind of like, instead of drinking diet soda, that's just kind of my thing. I used to drink a ton of diet soda, and I will have one every once in a while. I just don't have one every day anymore, but this is kind of my everyday thing. So, another thing, thank you, Anna Marie. You're always so sweet with your comments. Thank you. So let's get into books. Oh my goodness, I know a lot of you guys are readers too. If you don't follow me on Goodreads, you should, because I do keep track of all of my Goodreads, all of my books on Goodreads. I used to set myself for like, to read like 75 books a year, and I would hit that easily. And I'm really say, how many points are you on Weight Watchers? I'm on 23, but right now I'm doing Simply Filling, so I'm not counting the points, but 23 is my typical points. But last year I did not. Oh gosh, I did so bad last year. The year before I did like 57 books. So I'm really, really trying to get back into reading because it is such a stress reliever for me. I know for a fact that stress is really bad. It can really stall your weight. And so you need to, if there is something that you're just super stressed about, find something that can help you relieve your stress. And for me, that's reading. Something besides eating, because that's another thing that helps me relieve my stress is eating. But then you feel terrible afterwards, and it doesn't do good for your weight loss. And so reading is one of those things that I can totally get lost in and forget about everything that's going on. And my main genre that I absolutely love to read, oh gosh, with reading, I have a pretty wide variety as far as that's concerned, but I really, really love like psychological thrillers, suspenseful, true crime type things. But I do also like to read some fantasy books, but lately I've just been really into like suspenseful thriller type books. So I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 that I have read in the last like month. So the most recent one is called The Mother-in-Law, and what I do is I printed out like the synopsis, so since I couldn't show you a picture up here. It's by Sally Hepworth, and here's like the little synopsis real quick. So it says, someone once told me that you have 2 families in your life, the one you're born into and the one you choose. Yes, you may get to choose your partner, but you don't get to choose the mother-in-law. From the moment Lucy met Diana, she was kept at arm's length. Diana is exquisitely polite, but Lucy knows even after marrying Oliver that they'll never have the closeness she's been hoping for. But who could fault Diana? She was a pillar of the community and an advocate for social justice, the matriarch of a loving family. Lucy wanted so much to please her new mother-in-law. That was 10 years ago. Now Diana has been found dead, leaving a suicide note, but an autopsy reveals evidence of suffocation, and everyone in the family is in hiding. So I have never read anything from this author, but there is another book that everybody keeps telling me to read by her called The Family Next Door. So I definitely gonna be picking that one up. I've heard that it is such a page turner as well. So what I loved about this book, for one thing, I gave it 5 stars, by the way. And if you guys have ever heard any of my other book reviews, you guys know 5 stars means it's a very good book to me. On Goodreads, it's a 4.05. So definitely, and Goodreads people, they are strict reviewers, I'll tell you that much. But this is told from 2 points of view. So it's told from daughter-in-law Lucy and mother-in-law Diana. And I love books like that. I feel like it makes the books just go by so quickly. So I honestly, I could not put this book down. It was so good. I read it on my iPad, so I couldn't put my iPad down. But it had really good character development. It was a fast read, had really super good plot twists, and it was like one of those ones where it's like it kept you till the end. It really did kept you all the way to the end when you thought you had it figured out. Guess what? You didn't. Another one was called The Weight of Lies, which is interesting. This one did not have as good of a rating on Goodreads as 3.87. I gave it a 5 as well. So here's what it looks like. I'm always fascinated by covers too. Covers are something that really draws me in as well. So it says, in this gripping, atmospheric family drama, a young woman investigates the 40-year-old murder that inspired her mother's best-selling novel and uncovers devastating truths and dangerous lies. It says, reformed party girl Meg Ashley leads a life of privilege thanks to a best-selling horror novel her mother wrote decades ago, but Meg knows that the glow of their very public life hides a darker reality of lies, manipulation, and the heartbreak of her own solitary childhood. Desperate to break free of her mother, Meg accepts a proposal to write a scandalous tell-all memoir. So basically, this search leads Meg to question the facts of a decades-old murder. She's warned to leave it alone, but as lies pile up, Meg knows she's getting close to finding a murder. When her own life is threatened, Meg realizes the darkness found in her mother's book is nothing compared to the chilling truth that lurks off of the page. So yes, Deborah, I will link my Goodreads link down there. It's always in all of my videos. I always have it down there under my social media section. So what I put on here for notes, I always kind of keep notes about books for myself. It's a unique read. It's definitely different than what I've read in a long time. There's tons of going on in the book, but it's easy to follow. I don't like when there's like so much back and forth that you can't follow it. This one you definitely can follow. And there's just a little bit of everything. You have betrayal, you have secrets, you have lies, and they're really big secrets. So really, really good book. It's by Emily Carpenter. I don't think I said that. So it's called The Weight of Lies by Emily Carpenter. I will have all of these books linked down below as well. Another one was called The Stillwater Girls by Minka Kent. I am pretty sure I've read one or two of her books before. Again, kind of an interesting looking cover. A lot of these books, by the way, I don't know if you guys, any of you have the Kindle Unlimited on Amazon. A lot of these books I've gotten from free on there, or I've got them through the Amazon Prime. You get like a free book. There's like certain free books on there you can get as well. You can like borrow them is what they call them. So, and also on some of these have just been like 99-cent books. I check the books every day. Plus I have a bunch of books that I put on my wish list. And there's a thing called e-reader IQ, I think. I'll try to remember to link it down below. But basically you connect your Amazon wish list, book wish list to that, and it tells you when, it'll send you an email when the book's on Amazon. You're like, I think you set like a dollar amount, like you want to know anytime it falls below $5 or below $3 or something like that. And it sends you an email when those books have gone down to cheaper. So yeah, check that out if you have not. So Stillwater Girls, this one was, so technically I gave it a 3.5, although it shows up 4 on my rating because you can't do half ratings on Goodreads. So, and it has a 4.08 on Goodreads. So here's the synopsis real quick. Two sisters raised in fear are about to find out why in a chilling novel of, chilling novel psychological suspense from the author of The Thinnest Air. I think I have actually read that one. Ignorant of civilization and cautioned against its evils, 19-year-old Ren and her two sisters, Sage and Evie, were raised in off-the-grid isolation in a primitive cabin in upstate New York. One of them gets really super sick, and the mother leaves to help the child and never comes back. So it's just the other two girls. There's 19-year-old, and I think the other one maybe 16 or 17, and they eventually have to leave because you know, they're there in the cabin and somebody shows up or something and he claims he's looking for their mother and they don't know who he is. And since, like I said, they've been completely isolated from the outside world. This one was a little bit harder for me to get into. I believe I started it 2 or 3 times and it took me about 50 pages or so to actually get into the book. And sometimes books will redeem themselves, which it did, and it redeemed itself. The story switched back and forth between 2 different characters, and again, I do like that in books, so it makes it kind of go a little bit fast. And I'm just kind of so about how I feel about the twist at the end. So it's not a bad book. I do recommend it, and it's a fast read, and I believe this one was only like 99 cents or something, so it was really cheap, or maybe it was free on Kindle Unlimited. I'm not sure, but you can also get a free month of Kindle Unlimited as well. So, oh, this one was good though. It's called Her One Mistake by Heidi Perks. So I'll just read really quick here. It says, what should have been a fun-filled, carefree day takes a tragic turn for the worse for one mother when her best friend's child goes missing in the suspenseful, compulsively readable, and dark twisted psychological thriller. So basically, there's a school fair. This lady takes her best friend's daughter to the fair, and her best friend like never ever lets her daughter out of sight, but she had to take a class or something, so she took her there, and the daughter gets kidnapped. And so that's all about that. But it definitely has a really super unique plot. So if you like that, definitely unique, very suspenseful, very entertaining, good pace. The writing was fantastic in this. The writing is super good. I don't know if Heidi's ever written anything else. It's Heidi Perks. And this was given a 3.98 on Goodreads. I don't know how, I guess it's averaged because I don't know how you do a 0.5. So I'm not sure why these are like 0.98 and 0.7. But the ending was perfect. Had a great ending. Really, really liked the ending. So definitely a good book as well. And the last one, yes, the last one is called 99 Red Balloons. This one's by Elizabeth Carpenter. So it says, two girls go missing decades apart. What would you do if one was your daughter? When 8-year-old Grace goes missing from a sweet shop on the way home from school, her mother, Emma, is plunged into a nightmare. Her family rallies around, but as the police hunt begins, cracks begin to emerge. I believe this one was written and it was a different country. A couple of these are different countries, which is actually, for me, makes an interesting read because I like how they use different slang and stuff, but sometimes they can be a little bit harder to get into. If I remember right, this one was from a different country, like Australia or something like that. Oh, okay. We need to get rid of that one. Sorry, lock and control. Okay. But the twist of this book, oh my goodness, you guys, totally took it to a different level. Oh my gosh, I could not believe this twist. And this was a debut novel, and it was definitely well written. Like I said, you know, I gave it a 5. I don't know if I said that, but I gave it a 5. But Goodreads only gave it a 3.99. So anyway, what does Kathleen say? Like, just for information, there's something called Bookbub, which is a daily email that offers free or less expensive books based on what you like to read. I think I have subscribed to that before. That sounds familiar. Yeah. Okay. So let me go see if there's any questions real quick before I go on to the rest of the favorites. Anna Maria asked me if I've done the Wendy plan. I did it years ago. I can't remember if it, I mean, I feel like I did okay on it, but I don't really remember much about my success on it. Do I like cozy mysteries? I do like mysteries. Not as much as thrillers though. Thrillers tend to keep my attention a little bit better. Okay, I think that's all of them so far. Okay, so podcasts. I know I'll get a lot of requests about the podcasts I like, and I have quite a few here. Because what happens is I totally binge listen to these podcasts. I do them while I'm doing my meal prepping. I'm doing them while I'm cooking dinner. I'm doing while I'm getting ready in the morning. While I'm doing my hair. I do it while I'm driving on my way to work. So I go through podcasts very quickly. So I do tend to binge listen to them like crazy. And I mostly listen to true crime. I am not of one that I've tried to listen to some of the motivational ones, but I just can't get into those as much. I think I just really have to be in the good mindset for those. So most of the ones I'm going to ever tell you guys about are going to be true crime ones. Every once in a while, I'll find one that's not a true crime that I like and I've told you guys about before, but no new episodes have been put on those ones since, I don't know, so I got them. Maybe they're just going to go away. I don't know how that works with podcasts. So one of them that I have been absolutely loving is Red Handed, which is, there's British hosts, it's true crime. There's British hosts. They do both international and U.S. cases, and this is what I like about this one because I love Crime Junkie. You guys know I love Crime Junkie. I'm completely caught up on other episodes though. But they mostly only do U.S. episodes. I think they've done a couple Canadian ones, but I don't recall them doing very many international ones. And it is interesting to listen to some international cases that are going on because it's so different also to listen to the investigation part of it. So anyway, Red Handed, the hosts are hilarious. I really like them. Sometimes it can get a little political on certain episodes, and I just ignore that part because I don't enjoy those things. But other than that, for the most part, the cases are really interesting. Their take on it's really interesting. They have a great chemistry together. Really good. The other one is recently discovered, I mean like super recently, and they are pretty new because I think that they just released their 26th or 27th episode, and it's called Going West, also true crime. I think what got me with them was I noticed they were doing a lot of West Coast cases. I think it popped up as a like recommended or something. And I was listening to them, and one of them mentioned something about Oregon. And so then I went over to Instagram and I was shouting it out that I really liked them and I liked their page. And I made a comment on one of the things, and they told me they live in Oregon and they actually only live like an hour away from where I live. So that's interesting. So I want to support, kind of local type thing like that. But they do, I think they're boyfriend and girlfriend. Don't quote me on that. But they are I really like, they've done different cases than I've ever heard on other ones. Plus they do, like I said, some more localized cases, which is interesting for me. But they also have a really good chemistry and stuff, and I like their back and forth. And I like their opinions on things, and they don't always agree, which is interesting. They don't always agree on all of that. So one that I also just discovered that I absolutely love. So here's a little kind of like background. Oh my gosh, I'm already up to like 50 minutes. I'm gonna hurry, you guys. I'm sorry. One thing that I absolutely I don't think I've talked about ever is that at one point I wanted to be a paralegal, or was even also thinking about like legal secretary, that kind of thing. And unfortunately, I lived in a super small town at that time where the town I grew up in. And I happened to know through somebody else, knew an attorney, and so I kind of shadowed him a little bit to see. I was actually already taking classes for paralegal, and I kind of shadowed him a little bit, but unfortunately, he had some practices. Sorry, I have to pick up my paper. Practices that I didn't really agree with, and I didn't know if that was par for the course for defense attorney. I know I didn't. I have nothing against any of that stuff. I'm just saying at that point, my exposure to it was not very positive, and I thought, you know what, maybe this isn't what I want to do. And so I just kind of went away from it, and then I thought I wanted to do medical stuff until I saw blood, and me and blood don't go well. So anyway, but I'm still very, very, I think that's why I like true crime so much. But when I found Court Junkie, which I literally just found it like this week, it is like an in-depth look at like court cases, and a lot of them are like possible wrongful convictions, and she goes so in depth in the oh, I didn't know Hungry Girl had a podcast. I'll have to look at that. She is funny. I've heard her before on videos, and she is funny, so I'll have to check that out. Thank you, Erlene, is that how you say that? Thank you for telling me about that. So Court Junkie is so good. If you like court cases and like listening about court cases, which I'm just a nerd that way, I think you guys would like Court Junkie, because it really goes into kind of like, here's what happened, and here's, do you think that this person was wrongly convicted? It also can make you a little mad, because sometimes it shows that maybe law enforcement wasn't the best in some of these cases, and that people may have been wrongfully convicted. And there are advocates out there that do help with people like that, and it sounds like they've gotten involved in a lot of the cases that I've listened to. But yeah, Court Junkie, highly recommend that. I've only like listened to 3 or 4 episodes, and they have like 70 something on there. One that was just sometimes with podcasts, if you're not real familiar, sometimes they just have like one story that they're telling, and it's just over several episodes. So there was one about the Austin bombings that happened, and I think it was called Bomber. I don't have it on my phone anymore, so I couldn't look it up. But I finished with that one. But that was a very interesting podcast to listen to. Heard things on there that I hadn't heard through the news, which maybe if I had lived in Texas, maybe I would have heard more about it. But being here, I didn't really hear a lot about it. Another one that is so interesting that it's just kind of a fun one, and it's not true crime or anything, but it's called Tales. And it is like real stories of fairy tales. So I think we all probably know that the fairy tales that we all hear about, Snow White, there was Little Red Riding Hood, what is another one? Rose Red, which I haven't finished that one yet. Can't remember some of the other ones I've listened to. But this real stories behind those, like the real fairy tales that were first written, were kind of grim and not really kid friendly. So these kind of talk about where these fairy tales came from, how they were really written, and they read the real story, like the real, how it was real published to begin with. And so it's really interesting. I couldn't sit there and just like binge listen to them over and over and over again. It's just a nice thing to have in the background when I'm doing something else. But yeah, they're pretty interesting. You guys, I seriously probably have like 20 podcasts that I subscribe to. So I was trying to just go through and pick out ones that I think would be really interesting for people. Now, one that was an ad on one of the other ones, so I just downloaded it onto my phone, but I haven't actually listened to any episodes. It's called Not Guilty. Sounds a lot like Crime Junkie, where they talk about complicated criminal cases where the evidence and the verdict don't quite line up. So I haven't, that's what the premise of the podcast said on their website. So I'm going to definitely listen to a couple of those, and I'll let you guys know next month what I thought about those. Okay, so I wanted to do this in an hour, so I apologize that this is so long. Recipes, I'm going to do, oh, just by the way, I normally do food in my favorites, but I'd like to be able to give you guys close-ups of those and to show you and really give you more in depth. So I'm just going to do a separate regular video, not a live video, but a separate video on my favorite food finds for the last few months. And so I'll probably do that sometime in the next couple weeks or so. That way I can get some Simply Filling ones in there as well. So stay tuned for that. I'll just do food finds in a separate video. But I want to talk about some of my recipes that I have really enjoyed over these last like few weeks. And actually most of these are over the last like 3 weeks. So the BLT pasta that I made in last week's meal prep, so good. Oh my gosh, you guys, that was such a favorite with everybody. So I will link the meal prep video where I made that pasta so you know how to make it. And I will also try to find the original recipe as well. I'm gonna have a lot of links, so you guys give me like 30 minutes after this video posts before I get all links in there. Another one was some buffalo chicken burgers that I actually made that into a burger in a bowl when I ate those. And I think I made those in a meal prep video also. So I'll put that in there. The air fryer panko ranch parm chicken strips. Oh my gosh, you guys. They were so good. It's so good. Annette, good time. Well, welcome from Ireland. Were you here last week? Because I thought I had an Ireland one last week as well. So I appreciate your comments. So sweet. It's so fun to see people from other countries on here. Yeah, so exciting. So 1821. So it's like what? That's like 6:21. Hopefully it's not in the morning. There goes the dog again. But yes, the air fryer panko ranch parm chicken tenders. That is a mouthful for somebody who doesn't speak very well. So good. They come out crispy, and I think they came out where you could have 3 pretty large tenders for 2 smart points. So low. I dipped them in the G. Hughes barbecue, sugar-free barbecue, and also the no sugar added ketchup. So good. They're not Simply Filling, but hey, it's only 2 points, and so I definitely will have those really soon. That Hungry Girl Shepherd's Pie. A lot of these are not Simply Filling because I made these before I started doing Simply Filling again. The Hungry Girl Shepherd's Pie, I did a whole video on that with a collab. I am so glad that Bear put that collab together because I had forgotten about Hungry Girl, actually. And it's funny that it was mentioned in here because I had forgotten about her until Barrett had brought her up. And I was going around. I actually have a couple of her they're like on ebooks in my Kindle of her cookbooks, but I found this one on her website and it was so good. Hi, Penny. So I will link that down below as well. It's just a different take on shepherd's pie with chicken, and you just have cauliflower and like instant mashed potatoes, which I do not like typically, but my family is fine with it, and they don't like me to have to spend a lot of time making regular mashed potatoes for them whenever I make anything. So I do always have instant mashed potatoes on hand in my house, but I've never liked them before. But when I mixed them with the cauliflower mash, you never even knew that they were instant mashed potatoes. Crazy, huh? The copycat Starbucks spinach breakfast wraps that I made, oh, those were so good. I never had the original Starbucks one, so I don't know how they compare at all, but so good as well. The enchilada roll-ups, oh, I need to make those again, and I don't think those would be Simply Filling either. But those are basically like you took lasagna noodles and you just make them in enchiladas and you roll them up and you have enchilada sauce and the taco meat inside and all that. So good. Oh my gosh. When I was going back and looking at all my recipes I've made over the last couple months, these are definitely my standout favorites. And that Instant Pot beef and broccoli. I don't get my Instant Pot out enough. And a lot of people ask me, do you recommend one? To be honest, I don't use mine enough. probably to tell somebody, yes, you should get one. So really just go out there and look at some recipes and see if it's something that you would want to make. Honestly, there's some things in it that I have not liked how it's tasted. And that's mainly like, I don't like to make like pot roast in there. A lot of people have had success with them, been really tender. With me, it just comes out kind of dry, so I'm probably doing something wrong. But I love them for my hard-boiled eggs, and this was a great recipe with the beef and broccoli. But I feel like there's other ways you can make things without having to purchase an Instant Pot, especially if you don't have room in your house for them, if you don't have a place to store it, then wouldn't go out of your way to get one but I said, go out there and just look at some recipes. Go on YouTube. There's a ton of recipes on YouTube. Go out there and look around. And if there's things that you think that you would want it for, then yes, I would recommend it. But they are fantastic for hard-boiled eggs though. I just almost wish I had a smaller one because I have to get this big thing out to make, like 6 hard-boiled eggs a week. That's the only other thing with it. Luckily I have a garage that I just keep all of my appliances, most of my appliances in, except for my air fryers. I have 2 air fryers that I use pretty much almost every day. So, though I keep those in my kitchen, but everything else is out in the garage. I just don't use it that often. Same with my crock pot. I don't use it a lot either, and I think it's because I do so much meal prep that I just prep everything, and I don't really have a lot of crock pot. Maybe I need to, I use my crock pot actually more in the fall and the winter. Just maybe this time of year, I'm just not looking for crock pot recipes. So that's all for recipes. I had a couple makeup products because I do get a lot of questions about makeup. So I've just discovered this foundation that I really, really like. It's from L'Oreal. I don't think I've ever used a L'Oreal foundation ever. And it's also, I found a BB cream, and it's actually not I know some of them are tinted BB creams, but this one's not. And I have super, super, super white skin. Like, you guys don't know that, but yes, I have super fair skin. And so it's really hard for me to find foundation that doesn't like leave a line down there, even getting like the fairest, the lightest color that they have. And plus, another thing that I have happen is I have super dry skin, and so I have to find a foundation that'll stay on my face, but like I have super also red skin, so like I have a lot of redness through here, and for some reason foundation doesn't like to stay on my nose, and so I have to like fix all of that stuff, and a lot of times I have to use 2 or 3 different foundations. Thank you, Cheryl, that's sweet. And honestly, like the foundation that works probably the best is like a Clinique foundation, but I am really trying to budget my money, and right now it's just with my husband's job, we're always up and down, and so and we really, really, really want to buy a house, and it's just I cannot spend $70 to $80 on foundation, so I'm just refusing to do it. And because Tarte has one too, and it's like $30, but again, if I can buy a $10 foundation and have it work just as well, then I'm going to do that. So as much as I love Tarte products, I just have to break away from them because I was spending too much money on makeup. Like, because we don't have a Macy's, we don't have a Sephora, we don't have an Ulta. I have to drive 2 hours to get to any of those, and I just not willing to do that. So I'll do that for Trader Joe's though, but not for makeup. Anyway, so it's the Total Cover foundation, and it's a full coverage, which is what I need to cover up my red and to stay on my nose. But the color I use is the lightest, is fair, and I think it's 301, and it works so well. But when I pair it with this BB cream, the BB cream is like a primer it's like a primer and a moisturizer all in one, and it works really well. So those are a couple things. And also, here's some bargain makeup. Now, I know a lot of people, there's like the makeup at like the dollar store, which I think is LA Colors, which I've never tried any of that makeup before. Now my husband's he's like sending me a message saying, are you off? Are you done with your live show yet? Well, when you send me a message, that distracts me. So anyway, but Dollar General has a new line of makeup that's called Believe. And I just saw it like at my Dollar General not too long ago, and I was like, oh, what's this? Because I always go there. Sometimes I'll because it's right by my house. And so if I need they also have CoverGirl and Maybelline and all that. So if I need some like mascara or something on the fly, or I need some hairspray, I go down there and get it because it's close by. And so, so anyway, I saw they have their whole own line of makeup. So I picked up some of their, I think they call them glitter pots or something like that. And it's like a glitter, I'm wearing some of it today, but it's like a glittery kind of, it's weird. It's like a gel type, like it's kind of spongy when you touch it. So I like that. I also like their, it's like a bronzer, highlight, and blush, and it's like in a golder kind of tone, which I like for summertime. So I like that. I like their eyeliner and their eyebrow pencil, but I don't see where you can like sharpen them, so I feel like they're not a very good deal because they're like $3.50, and once you use them, that's it. Because they're plastic, so they're not like a pencil. I haven't tried, what else, did I try anything else from them? No, I don't think I have. Oh, so I have a lip gloss and a lipstick, and both of those I really like. Oh, I had somebody ask me about the lipstick I had on in my last live video, and it was a Laura Geller called Something Kisses. I got it at Marshall's. Like, again, I'm not gonna spend a lot on makeup anymore, and I can't find that kind of stuff here besides at Marshall's. So I do pick up makeup sometimes at Marshall's. So there you go. There are my favorites. Did you guys like this favorites live thing? Let me know in the live chat since you're here, and also in the comment section if you're watching this afterwards. Let me know what you guys thought about doing this live chat and a favorites. Also, let me know if you want to catch it live. Let me know in the comment section what is a good time for you guys, if this works out good. Like I said, I may just throw a Saturday in there just to kind of mix it up and see if Saturdays work better. But like I said, starting in August and September, I'm gonna have to do Saturdays anyway because I won't have Fridays off. But again, I can do later in the day in Fridays, you know, it doesn't matter. So anywho, I better go and see what my husband wants because he told me to call him. So I will talk to you guys again very soon. Tomorrow will be grocery haul video. Sunday will be meal prep as usual. I'm gonna try to come up with some recipes to do some recipe videos for you guys next week. Do you guys like seeing the 5 days or 4 or 5 days of dinner videos? So I did that. I posted one of those this morning, and I did do a cook with me, which I've done those before. So if you'd rather see, like, if it's a video that I can do a cook with me, some of them are just literally salad you just throw together, but I will try to do some videos with, you know, showing you what I'm having for dinner and show you how I prepare them. So I have that coming. Trying to think of what else. I don't think I have anything else coming. Also, this week I also posted another beginner's guide. This one was all about meal prep containers, which I had a lot of requests about those. So that video went up this week as well. So if you want to know what meal prep containers I recommend and what I started out with, and oh my gosh, you guys, I have a lot of them now. So anyway, you guys have a fantastic weekend, and I will talk to you guys all very, very soon. Bye, guys. The only thing is I don't know how to end these videos ever.